Live from England, David Icke. Good afternoon, sir. I hope you got out of the stock market this morning.
I never went in it, Patrick.
Well,
I just leave that to others, mate.
Good move there, David Icke. It's really interesting. Really interesting, isn't it, David Icke? It's as if the world governments globally are doing their utmost to fulfill this absurd destiny of dysfunction and economic. They just do everything they can to do what you all been predicting they're going to do.
Well, it's a big story, Patrick, of what's going on at the moment on multiple levels, and there's so many different levels of it that come together to really show the picture. And in the simplest of terms, when I first started consciously waking up 20 years ago to what was going on, I came across something called, which I called actually the truth vibrations. And it was that there was a vibrational change coming, which there was no evidence for it 20 years ago. And that this vibrational change was going to wake people up from their coma. The more awake would wake up first, and then the more asleep would wake up, and so it would go on. And the other effect was that all that had been hidden would be brought to the surface. This energy would be like trawling the bottom of the ocean and bringing it to the surface where it can be seen. And of course, over the last 20 years, that's happened. I mean, the wake up is phenomenal. It's not the majority yet or anything like, but compared with 20 years ago, it's staggering. And my goodness, what's been happening for 20 years? And then even more in 15 years, even more in 10, even more in 5, even more in 2. The secrets are coming to the surface. They can't be stopped. And what I talk about in the new book, about among many things connected, is that we are at the point of a changeover between a previous epoch of human experience and a new one. And it relates to the cyclical nature of time that the ancients talked about, not least in places like Asia and India, where they talk about the yugas, the changing yugas, from the golden age yuga to the more suppressed yuga. And what I've said in the book, and people just have to see the background and the evidence to see what they think, is that the black holes resonate a frequency, and that is the base frequency of this reality. When this frequency vibrates, it is eliciting, it is triggering information from the suns, and in our case, of course, our sun in the solar system, to deliver information in the form of photons. And what this creates is an information background construct that is absolutely the same in principle as the wireless internet. And we then decode that information into this reality that we're experiencing. The Qi energy that the Chinese talk about going through the meridian lines of the acupuncture area and belief and the healing technique is photon energy. The energy going through the Earth's energy grid and the ley lines and the vortex points, etc., is photon energy, and it's information. That's what it is. That's why they found that when the energy is passing through the meridian lines of the body too slowly, or even too quickly, out of harmony, out of ideal, then you get some form of illness, some form of dis-ease, disharmony. And of course, the needles and other acupuncture techniques are there to balance this energy back to its harmonious state. And it's interesting that when people have a problem with their computers, they say, my computer's slow today. It must have a virus. Why is it slow? Because the information is not passing around the network to optimum speed, and therefore it malfunctions. And this is why, in the same way, when this photon energy, this information is not passing around the body at optimum speed, then there's a problem. The computer malfunctions, the body malfunctions. Now, coming back to, because everything connects to everything else if you keep talking long enough. This whole control system and the financial stuff that I'm seeing today, the fall in the global stock markets, etc. We're at this epoch, change, where the energy construct of the previous epoch is now being replaced by the new one of much greater expansion and awareness, because this vibration from the black holes, and because scientists have established now that there's a massive black hole right at the center of this galaxy, and probably one at the center of every galaxy, which completely fits the theme. This vibration doesn't stay static. It moves through a cycle. And as it moves through its cycle, it is triggering different information from the suns in the form of photons. And so the way it plays out as it goes through its vibrational cycle and then comes back to the start again is it creates these epochs, these periods of experience in this reality on this planet that are different. So like the ancients talked about the golden age, which was just amazing expansion and infinite potential. And then that came to an end amid great catastrophes and floods, and the Great Flood they talk about, and all these other ancient civilizations talk about the same thing, the great geological and other catastrophes. And we've been through this period of suppression. It's almost like the dark ages of this cycle. And so the information construct has been very much supportive of that which wishes to control, which wishes to manipulate, which wishes to suppress. And now, as I was told 20 years ago, this is coming to an end, and we're now moving into this new epoch of a very different energetic construct, very different information construct. And again, people talk about the age of Aquarius. They talk about 2012 in the Mayan calendar. These are all different expressions of basically the same thing. So coming back to what's going on now is the control system has been working, because it can see down our quote timeline as we can't. They've been working to try to mitigate and suppress and dilute the effectiveness of this vibrational change upon people. And so they're trying to keep people in a state of vibrational density connected to the old epoch vibration and not connecting to the new one, which will expand their consciousness, their awareness, their sense of self, their sense of the world, their potential for creativity. All of it's going to be fantastic once this control system's gone. And so they're doing it in many ways. It's my very strong belief, Patrick, that over having put all this together over the years, that we're not actually seeing with this Orwellian period of control and gathering dictatorship, primarily an effort to have more power, although that's a byproduct in the short term. It is actually trying to stop the control system being dismantled by this vibrational change that's waking up minds, and when minds wake up, the control system goes down. And so they're bombarding us with chemical additives in food, which are destabilizing the body computer receiver transmitter chemically. They're doing it through all this microwave electromagnetic smog and fog that we now live in. And they're doing it in their ideal by putting microchips in everybody so that they can externally suppress our vibrational state and our ability to receive these higher levels of awareness, these higher levels of knowledge. And another key thing is, and this is in their writings, they're going to throw everything at us in this period to try to put us in states of fear, states of confusion, bewilderment, and instability. And so you've got the war on terror stuff going on. You've got the fear they're trying to generate, but they're increasingly losing ground on that, about climate change and all that stuff. And primarily, of course, in terms of getting people worried and in fear, they're trying to crash, or they intend to crash, the world financial markets, and then offer the solutions, of course, which is a centralized global economy
to fix it all. So, David, where do you think is driving then this truth or this vibration that you call it? Do you think it's soul's desire for spiritual growth that is actually the driving force? This is where it's coming from ourselves?